Hey, welcome to the home workout center. On the home time, went to my Pilates class this morning and did some leg workouts and going to get an upper body as I've already slept, So this is actually a different day for me in a weird kind of way because I got that weird kind of shift. So, anyways, hey, buddy. Hey. So, just checking in and letting you know what's going on, and let me help you motivate you to work out, and you help me motivate me to work out. So go ahead and subscribe, and share, so I get a little bit motivation to keep making these videos, and you get a motivation. At least you'll see it. You can compete with me, you can say I'm dumb and laugh at me, whatever it takes. Hey, whatever motivates you, that's all that matters. So, I thought I'd go ahead and bring up an interesting subject today. So, I watch a ton of videos. It's just kind of my thing, and I don't even watch them, as you probably most of you know, because I have the YouTube thing. I just press play and I listen. And even when I'm at home, and my phone will be in another room, and I just let it go through and listen to whatever. Every once in a while, I go running to fast forward. Because sometimes you come across certain videos. I mean, and I got a good mix, and I do a lot of, I'm a political junkie, but that's a whole nother subject that I don't feel like getting into, because this isn't what my channel's about here. So, anyways, I've been listening to a lot of Coach Greg, and now this isn't exclusive to Coach Greg, and I'm going to be posting in this Coach Greg is wrong, but let's be absolutely clear. He's way smarter than me. He knows a whole lot more than I do. He absolutely knows what he's talking about when it comes to fitness. He's got a diet plan that works for him, won't work for me. That's cool that it works for him, but whatever. Knows a whole lot more about everything surrounding this field. However, I found it interesting because I've heard this argument before, and I've heard it in both directions, but I think there is something to be said about why I lost a lot of trust in the fitness world. Oh, there goes the dryer. Good. Just need more noise around here. Anyways, why it was so hard for me to relate, and that was, he said, you don't have a relationship with food, relationships with people. So he gets annoyed at this whole, there is no such thing as a bad relationship with food. I've heard this before. I've heard this quite a few times. Yeah, there's a such thing as a bad relationship with food. But somebody who started training when they were 10 years old, they've never had a relationship with food. Food is to eat. Food is to, build muscle. Food is to sustain or whatever. So they've never used food as a substitute for a parent. They've never used food as a substitute for companionship. They've never used food as a substitute for confidence. They've never used food as a substitute for you name. See, it's hard for somebody who's never had that bad relationship with food, because there's really no such thing as a good relationship with food, because you either use food as what food's meant to be, nutrition, or you have an abusive relationship with food. There's no good relationship with food. I wouldn't even say there's a bad relationship with food. There is an abusive relationship with food, and you are literally in a relationship with food because you have a problem with people, I guess you could say, in a way. You have bad relationships with people. And you see this, people who were abused as children, a lot of times turn to food. Food is the comfort. Sometimes people who have very bad parents use food as a comfort. And food is the relationship. And it's not even food. A lot of times it's sweets. It's soda. It's one particular thing that became the substitute for what they needed. And so I think it's important that we say, hey, you shouldn't have any type of relationship with food. But it's also important to identify that some people do have an abusive relationship with food. And in that abusive relationship, it's actually important to get them away from it. So this is where sometimes I get flustered when taking advice from somebody who I know is ultimately like Coach Greg, like some of the others I've talked about, who ultimately are way smarter than me, and then they say something or they try to relate, and I can tell they don't understand. He's my age. Actually, I think he's older, about 10 years older, but clearly doesn't understand what got me to where I got. He's got the answers and the solutions of the plan to move you forward, but doesn't quite understand how you got here. And so I always worry is, will that plan work for me? But can I stick to that plan? For instance, he has French toast in the mornings. He really likes this French toast, and he likes popcorn. I don't like popcorn anymore. So I can't say anything about that. But I can tell you this, if I ate something that looked or tasted remotely like French toast, do not care how filling it will be, there will be food before lunch, and it will be bad food because, that is a sweet, and I can't control myself. Once I've had one little bit of sweet, I'm going back for more. And because I'm on the road and my next stop for coffee is going to be right next to king-size candy bars and big old things of pineapple, which I love, but they're huge, so you can't just have one little niblet or something, because I have the cooler, but it's full of good food. Or I'm going to be into a where I'm bored, I'm losing my self-control if I do something like that. And the next big reason is I don't have time. I can't make fresh French toast out on the road. I'd have to have pre-cooked, and I may not like it, and I could go overboard. So I can already tell you, when I have something like that, the rest of my day starts going bad. Maybe in the future I'll have that kind of control, but I know I don't have that kind of control now. Where I know, I'll have this little thing that tastes sweet, and I'll be able to control because I've eaten other food. Nope. I'd be stuffed to the gills, and I always have room for pineapple upside down cake. I can be full to freaking here. I'll be able to fit ice cream in. Give me that little bit of sweet tooth, and I no longer think. Okay? It's no longer even, I don't know how to describe it other than if you've been there, you understand it. If you haven't been there, you don't understand it at all. And clearly, he didn't understand it. So, if someone were to say, hey, I'm going to go on this program, they'd be like, hey, good. I am quite sure lots of people have been successful in that program. But, and probably everybody, let's say everybody has. But, if you know yourself, if you're ready for that kind of dedication and you look at the program, you're going to know if it works or doesn't work for you. But I am not saying it won't work, and I'm not saying I disagree with it. I am just saying, hey, try to relate, try to understand. And instead of saying that when I say I had a bad relationship with food, what I'm saying is stupid, how about saying, hey, how about we work with you to not have a bad relationship with food, or to get that out of your head? That would be nice, because don't call me stupid and then expect me to listen to a word you say, even though what you're saying is smart. We all have to do what works for us. Look, I like the carnivore or the keto, meat-heavy keto, whatever you want to call it, diet, because for me in my life and the way things are, it is easier to just say, you can only eat this. And I'm happy with those foods, and I'm happy with that, and it's a little bit easier for me to stick to. Some people, hey, paleo might, vegan might, this one or that one might. Whatever works. As long as you are not eating McDonald's and a whole bunch of junk, and you're getting the sugar out of your life and all that, as long as you're one step towards being healthier, who cares what you do? It all works. And when you do get healthy, maybe then you can start going back and saying, I'm going to make a whole food, well-balanced, well-rounded lifestyle choice in my diet. But for now, I've done this wrong for 40 years. Well, actually, I've done it wrong because believe it or not, my mom did a great job of feeding us great foods. But I've done this wrong for 20 years, all by myself. I need to enact rules so I don't go back to the habits I've had for 20 years, because it is really easy to fall back into the habit I've always known of, this is the junk I'm going to eat, and this is the junk I'm going to eat, and this is the junk I'm going to eat, because that's the junk I've eaten. And it didn't work for me then. So now I have to go a little extreme. I have to go a little overboard, a little crazy, in order to bring myself back, in order to reprogram myself. Because I know that's what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, then do what works for you. Find what works for you. But I get flustered when people say, oh, this is dumb and that's dumb, keto's dumb, vegan's dumb. Hey, I have concerns about the vegan lifestyle because of the nutrition, but if it works for you and you're watching that you're getting everything, who's to say it's wrong? You have problems with keto and you don't think it's healthy, but it works for me, so who's to say it's wrong, especially if it's working? Paleo, low carb, only whole foods, and whatever works for you to be healthier. Do it, and tell whoever says it's wrong to shut up. Because if you had been doing things right and you hadn't had, for those of us in this group, in my age group, 10 years younger, 10 years older than me, who've gotten heavy because we weren't paying any attention to our diet and stuff, we did it wrong. So we need to figure out how to do it right. And whatever works is better than what we were doing. And if you don't like it, shut the heck up. All right? Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below. Tell me what you want to hear me say. So tell me what you want to know more about, or my opinion about, or tell me I'm stupid, or whatever. It works for me. Drive safe.